Welcome, welcome, adventurers, explorers. Do you remember Thornwood Forest? Ah, I do. Way before I used to simp for Biraghi Den, before I kept saying that's my favorite grinding spot, at least since Elvia, I used to love Thornwood Forest. Way back when Odalita was first released, this was my go-to area to grind. I used to love the simplicity of it, the mob density was really good, it was fairly accessible to grind compared to Turos and Golems, and it had decently good rewards. And back then, making most of your money from trash loot itself was a big plus. That was kind of fresh in a way to the game. And now coming back to the area, I was literally hoping that this would just blow up and be amazing. It wasn't anything special back then, like it was just decent money for the gear required, but with the Caphra Stone update, I honestly expected this place to be amazing. Like literally the definition of, hey, do you have like 261 AP? Then you should definitely just go and live in Thornwood, because that's your next best, it's basically the best spot available at the moment. Sadly, that's not really the case. So, welcome to area number 3 in our revisit series. I spent 5 hours here, just like with the other ones, and I'm gonna tell you what I found out. First things first, let's establish a starting point. This is my chart with my conclusion, my result from, I guess, almost a year ago or whatever, whenever I reviewed Thornwood the first time on my Guardian. I got around 5.6 thousand trash per hour average as my clearing speed. I had more or less the same gear score, but since then add-ons got reworked, classes got buffed, so a couple of things changed. I fully expected to be faster than that. If you look at the trash per hour breakdown, some hours got close to 6,000 trash per hour, close to the end when I more or less perfected my grinding style. So that's our baseline. Around 6,000 trash per hour clearing speed is what I have to beat, and about 140 million silver per hour with today's prices on the old loot table. Also, this area used to drop about 4 Caphras per hour before the patch, for whatever that's worth. And that brings us to today. Now I play Corsair, Succession, I have about 281 AP for whatever that's worth, and 2 black star weapons, like this is my gear, my crystals, just that, and full tier 4 pets, so pretty much as much looting as possible. It doesn't get any better than that. I don't manually loot. Other than that, I chose the rotation, the one close to the bridge. I don't think it has an official name, but that's what I grinded for 4 of my 5 hours. And it was not quite super empty. Like, it was decently contested, but I didn't have any problems grinding the place. Like, I saw a couple of people here and there grinding. I just chose to switch servers and the next one was empty. Essentially, it's not a dead area, but it's not super contested. Before I show you the Excel spreadsheet, I want you to remember that I only ever truly tested this place once for money per hour. And that was way before they added the venomous fang scroll thingies, before they added the black leaves for the costumes. So the area did get a couple of improvements since the original estimation of, let's say, 140 million silver. So ideally, it should be much better than that. So let's take a look at the conclusion. I stored everything in the bank, yada yada, all of that stuff. 5 hours of loot so you can see it in one place. In the end, it's all in my inventory and stuffs, and that brings us to this spreadsheet, which looks a bit complicated if you're not familiar with the layout, but I guess it's pretty simple to explain. That long story short, 190 million silver per hour is today's estimation out of my 5 hours. So from 140 it jumped to about 190 million silver. I forgot to add the pure silver. You do get a bit of silver drop here, which is I believe about 2 million silver per hour. So let's say exactly 190 million silver. In terms of my trash breakdown, this is my picture with a loot from the 5 hours. Not a whole lot of stuff drops. Trash started at around 6.6 thousand, 6.3 thousand from the first 2 hours. I noted the events as well, the ones that spawn monsters. Usually I remember those were about 200 to 300 extra trash per hour per event, so they do matter a little bit. From the third hour, I tried on my third hour to grind on remastered mode, and it was, let's just say, very beautiful to look at, but more or less 40 to 45 FPS experience. I fully expected my trash per hour to tank, but surprisingly I still maintained my full clearing speed. So that's interesting, I suppose, to know. Hour 4, I had 3 events, 7.1 thousand trash per hour, and hour 5, this is the only hour I did after this week's patch that buffed Corsair's mermaid skill damage. So essentially I got damage buffs on the class, and it was pretty noticeable. With only one event, 7.1 thousand trash. So I would say with full confidence these days, if I try, I should be able to get 7,000 trash per hour easily, but my average was 6.8. The Caphra Stone drop rates, breakdown, it's this per hour. It seems to be hovering around 20. I averaged Caphras 21 per hour, which is a bit underwhelming. I was expecting more. So far it seems like every area I go to somehow ends up on around 20 Caphras per hour. These are the items from our main run. These at the bottom of the chart, the second half. I tried to do the scrolls, the venomous scrolls, just to see what they are worth, because I never actually did them in the past, so I didn't know how to value them. Let's just say the scrolls themselves were an interesting experience. You essentially kill the boss from the Thornwood event, the boss from the Two Rose area, and then one golem. So it's not very fast, it's not super easy, you kind of need gear to do them, and from what I understand, not a lot of people actually do these scrolls. And I had 7 scrolls in total, more than I actually dropped from this area. I just used everything I had in my bank previously. So I ran 7 scrolls in total. These are all of the items I dropped, their prices, their drop per each individual scroll, and in the end it turned out to be about 12.5 million silver per scroll with my loot table. Nothing super rare dropped from those, but you can already imagine like 12.5 million silver per scroll, and the amount of time it took us to do the scrolls themselves, it is just not worth it. I would honestly just say you can take those scrolls and trash them, literally throw them in the trash, because you're better off grinding an extra hour than running those scrolls for money. I don't know why it's like that, maybe I just got super unlucky with the supposed rare drops, but in any case, I did the scrolls that I could, just so I can see an estimation of what each of these fangs is worth, price-wise. Then I added it into the spreadsheet, and it's included in this 190. So Thornwood these days is worth about 190 million silver, including the venomous scrolls, like assuming you actually run these, and this is without any downtime, like assuming you value these without the time it takes to actually do them. So it's not good. Honestly, it's not good. I would say Thornwood is not recommendable, surprisingly. It's like, I used to love this place, but now I can't recommend it. It's amazing for Agris efficiency. You can burn your Agris points here, sure. You make a lot of the money from the trash itself. Like half of your full income is just purely from trash, and only about 38% of your final profit comes from items you sell to the marketplace. So, it should be good, but it's just not. Maybe it's because I didn't drop any rings. So let's assume I would drop 1 ring in 5 hours. Assuming the ring is about 100 something million silver, maybe the place would be 200 million silver per hour, like 210, 220 at the best. I would say that's not good. Just 7,000 trash per hour to get maybe 200 million silver, that's pretty high clearing speed for an area that most people will visit with less gear score than what I have. So just judging on that and everything as I just, said, I don't like Thornwood anymore. I'm not gonna return here, sadly. I feel like I went in circles quite a while with this video, but yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Essentially, Agris efficiency is good, experience is kind of just mediocre these days because Elvia is better. Here's the takeaway from this video. If you have the gear score to grind Biraghi, just go to Biraghi Den instead. Biraghi is the better version of Thornwood these days, even after the Caphra Stone buff. The money per hour is better at Biraghi, experience is better at Biraghi, and Agris efficiency is more or less the same if you want to burn those there. That's basically it. Thanks for watching this awkward weird video. Like the video if you enjoyed it, so you can put a smile on my face. I will see you next time with a different area, and until then, stay happy. Let me know in the comments, what do you think if you go to revisit Thornwood? Are you happy with the conclusion, like with your results, or are you also just a little bit disappointed that this place is still kind of irrelevant? Catch you next time. Bye bye.